The Houston Rockets.
Okay. We'll see if we can use that.
Okay.
It's the second thing on our docket. Yo.
Okay. 3, 2, 1. What's good, everybody? What's going on, man? It's Stephen Qualls II, aka Mr. Qualified. It's your boy, and we're back with another episode of Wright Quallity Podcast. Emilio.
Hey, you see me working on my peace sign. I saw videos of Lil Baby earlier, so I want to get that straight. What's good? How y'all doing? How is everybody? It's hot, everybody.
It's hot, bro. It's hot everywhere. I feel like it's hot, man. It's just, yeah. I don't know. I'm glad to be inside right now, but man, let's jump right in, man. Last episode we talked about all the big free agent moves and things like that, but we didn't really talk about some of the free agent moves that are looming, with some of the bigger superstars in the league. And I think that the biggest domino, man.
That time.
But yeah, man. So I don't even know where to start with Dame. We've all been waiting for Dame to request this trade, and it finally happened. We don't know if it was for sure the Jeremiah Grant.
Oh man,
Jeremy Grant signing up, but
crazy. Still.
But yeah, but I mean, it's been time. It's been time for Dame to move on from Portland. Honestly, me personally, I think it was that year after they got swept by Golden State. I want to say 19. I think it was 19.
I think the straw that broke my back as a Dame, as someone that has studied his game, it's about Dame time. That was what I was waiting for. That Nuggets series. My CJ take. I forgot I had that.
You'd have that.
That was because that's when he stepped out. When he stepped out of bounds after my man's pouring out his heart for a historic 50 in every one of those games. That's when I was like, yeah, it's time. That's why I looked at that man. I was like, he got sent to the Pelicans. I'm like, this feels right. They needed to sum up. So that hurt me. And I'm in Milwaukee. I'm not even a Portland fan like that.
So I low-key, I didn't forget about that series, but I low-key forgot that Denver had been knocking on the door that long. I forgot that they were in that space where they were trying to get over that hump back in 18 even. But yeah, I loved that series. I still remember that series and remember
crazy
games going into multiple overtimes. It was ridiculous. But I didn't want to say that early, but I mean around that time between those two seasons, there was also a season. It might have been the season before because AD was still with the Pelicans, but they got swept by the Pelicans one season as well in the playoffs.
Yeah, a couple of those seasons, the smart man would have been like, it's time. But then the for sure, it's real time was that last one. Just because earlier, it's you see, it's so stacked in the West. What are we really building around if it's not Bron, if it's not whoever? At that point, go young, pull an OKC, pull an Orlando, scrap it, get whatever you can. And maybe that's Wemby at this point, but they were one off. So
and I guess what confused me with Portland was I'm not convinced that they thought that they were building a championship team around Dame. There's no way.
They were we're happy to be here.
Even with some of the success that they did have, it was you had to know that you needed another piece to get over the hump. And that's not me necessarily knocking CJ or saying CJ had to go, but you had to know that you were going to need something else. And I don't think that the pieces they had were bad. I just think you needed to add something else. And I feel like they never added that last piece to really be a contender.
You can see a couple teams like that in history. It's if the Clippers ever had a viable three, a viable starting three, that Paul Pierce in their lineups.
You talk about CP's Clippers?
Yeah, CP's Clippers. They were that piece away. You could look at the Knicks if they had a actual point guard. They kept getting rusty old Jason Kidd or whoever it was at the time. I'm just get them someone that could feed Melo in the post productively and we'll be okay. but Raymond Felton running point, the big cheesesteak. Not that Raymond Felton's a bad player. He will cook me, surely. But, like at that time, it's like, maybe it's a move for a Chris Paul at that point. You need to make a splash.
Yeah. Baron Davis was their point guard at one point.
I was gonna say Baron Davis, but I thought I was having a fever dream. So he was.
I think I almost positive he was with them for at least a season somewhere.
Some teams in history where it's just like they got a great 5, they had a great 3. They're missing that balance, or it's like they have everything. They got no shooters. The Pistons did it for so long. They were living through Rip Hamilton to get every shot for him. Literally, they were just like mid-range.
Yeah.
And down. Ben Wallace is going to cream this man. Like, he'll be wide open.
Is
he not going to cook somebody on the screen? That's why I meant it. So many. Rip Hamilton lived off of a Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace screen session. That's crazy.
That's terrible.
Oh my God.
Terrible to deal with all night. I'll tell you that much.
I would not want to play in that NBA.
Not at all. Not at all.
With the tattoo imprinted on my head. That star on Sheed's arm. I'm leaving with that.
It's
a wrap.
You dating yourself for real.
I'm telling you, I would not live. I would not live. I digress. Dame. So where do you want him to go? I mean, it's probably the Heat. I mean,
I like the move. I like Dame going to Miami just because I've been saying, and I think a lot of people know that Jimmy's great, especially playoff Jimmy. Like Jimmy turns it up in the playoffs, but Jimmy is not the offensive player that you need in the playoffs. Yeah. Like, especially as you get down the stretch and the game slows down for real. Or to do it over a long period, like to do it over the course of a game. I feel like Jimmy has spurts and he's great at picking his spots, but when you need somebody who you can count on throughout the game, I don't think that's Jimmy's game.
That's why their offense sucks. I'm sorry. I mean, great player once again. I'm trying to turn a new leaf. An amazing player. Great defense, started from nothing. I mean, we as a Marquette fan love him.
Yeah.
But yes, I feel like there'll just be plays where it's like, all right, I'm dribbling here. Duncan, get open. It's a Max Drew screen, though. It's not a Ben Wallace screen. So you're not getting the best quality shots every possession. We saw that in the stats, but,
Yeah, so I like him. I don't know. So I like him in Philly. I don't know if that will work. I don't know if they can make that work. But I think him in Philly with Embiid would work.
It's like why can't Giannis have the player acquisition that Embiid has had over his career? They've given Embiid everybody. They're trying every which piece to be like, is this the right one? Do you like him? He's nice. And the best piece that they had, they let go to Miami. Just like, damn. Like, really? Like, Embiid could have Dame and also get sent before he meets in Eastern Conference Finals again? Like, I don't know. Like, and I was going to say earlier, like, it's such a petty reason. Such a petty reason why I don't want him to go to the Heat. I just want to see him in a different color scheme. He's going from white, black, and red to white, black, and red. That's boring. Every jersey edit looks so simple. It looks the same. Like, yeah, they have the Vice City ones maybe, but it's just like, send him to, like, I want to see him in yellow.
Right.
I want to see him in purple and gold.
Not after all the moves they made.
No, they look too good. But I mean, like, hey, maybe they use some of those moves to make it Dame somehow, some way. But contract matching, who knows? That's probably a nightmare. But I don't know. It, like, as an NBA fan, the most fun teams for me would be the Bucks in LA. Just like seeing Dame and Giannis and see what that offense looks like, and just for him to be in LA, that'd be kind of cool.
I still have always and will always be a huge fan of Dame coming to the Bucks, but I just don't think that makes sense. Nor does that seem where Dame wants to go. It seems like he wants to go to Miami. You said what?
2 years ago, 3 years ago was probably the best time. When we were shipping Bledsoe, it was probably the best time. We were gonna have to throw some key guys their way to do that, but if it was the time to do it, that was probably it.
Yeah, probably the best time, and probably maybe a couple. I mean, I would say before Drew, it would have made more sense, but yeah, but I mean, so I think Miami is where Dame wants to be, and I get that, and that makes sense. I wouldn't have minded LA. I just feel like that's a lost cause at this point. Yeah. I think we're a lost cause at this point. I've heard, well, this is not realistic. This is just Stephen A talking. But if Dame was to do New York,
I was gonna say,
my only hesitation is I don't know what him and Brunson looks like, nor do I like it as a backcourt because I don't know where New York's defense is. I think
you get rid of Brunson in that trade.
You don't send Brunson to Portland, no, that's stupid. And if I'm New York,
I think you're getting Dame. That might be the
no. If I'm New York and I was to do this, I'm sending Randall before I send Brunson.
Oh, that's the dream scenario, but you're not getting rid of Randall. They're not. Portland's looking over there and they're like, no. they will gladly
but they're guard heavy. Portland, but my thing is this: Portland's already guard and like wing heavy, and your big is Nurkic, right? Respect to Nurkic, but like Randall with some of the guards that they have, I think Randall has more of an opportunity to honestly probably be played through, in Portland than he. I mean, because he's not going to be played through in New York, so.
Yeah, it's tough. It's like at that point, then it's like because you're not. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do like that. I do like the backcourt. I like Anthony Simons as a 6-man, Scoot and Jalen. There, I don't know. I feel like it would work. I feel like Julius. No, I don't know. I don't know what his trade value looks like. I feel like they'd have to give up more. For the Knicks, and I don't know if they're willing to give up more. I don't know who else is more for them, but
I will say so. The Knicks have a decent core, right? And I just think they'd have to give up too much of what they've kind of like recouped over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
Also, it depends for whatever reason. Remember, the Knicks didn't want to part with RJ Barrett, but Barrett. My thing is this: if you're gonna send me Dame, right? The only thing is the Knicks are in a position where I don't know what their identity is going to be because they're already small. And so if you trade for Dame, you're just not trading for size. And I guess with Tibbs, it doesn't, who knows? I don't think Tibbs cares.
Taj Gibson, year 28.
But
he's got away.
But yeah, but honestly, I would say those are the only 4 teams like off the top of my head that I can think of that would make sense for Dame to to go, especially if Dame wants to compete right now. But honestly, I just hope the Miami trade works because that's clearly where Dame wants to go. I think Miami has put together some relatively decent packages for given the circumstances and the situation. But this is also why a lot of people felt the way they felt about Dame re-signing and staying, because now you put a lot of power into Portland's hand. And if Portland isn't going to play ball, or if Portland now wants to go and say, oh yeah, well, we need the biggest return because we still want to be competitive, now you're stuck. Because one could sit there and say that Portland should just respect Dame's wishes, send him off, take what you get for him, and rebuild. But no, Portland's in a position where like, well, no, we want to compete. So we want to get these pieces and we want to be competitive. And an already stacked West at that. And it's just like, now Dame's stuck. And now he has to wait until Portland is happy, which this could go on for however long, bro.
Yeah, honestly, no, you're not wrong.
But yeah, hopefully, I don't know how long this is going to go on. Hopefully not too long. Since he wants to be in Miami, I think it makes sense. I mean, Miami, if the trade does go through, whatever the package is, with who Miami let go and then with who Miami has left, that would more than likely be in the package, they're going to have to do essentially what they had to do when they got Bron and Bosh. They're going to have to find some guys willing to take vet minimums or take less money to kind of fill out this roster. But
hey, they might be coming to Miami Thunder. They might just see those last 5 guys that get dropped and like, hey, come on.
Hey, they are known. They are known for getting undrafted players. And so who knows?
They make it work.
But yeah. Well, another player who we are waiting to see where they're gonna go, James Harden.
You heard my answer the moment you hit record.
It would make more sense now, given the moves they made. If he went back before free agency, I didn't get it at all.
But then once Ime showed up, and he had a club going partner, team chemistry up, baby. Oh man, they're throwing hundreds, oh man, they'd be going crazy. James would be like, I know all the best spots he may come through. He'd be such a great role model, great mentor for those young guys. It'd be like the first like intro scenes of like Mike when Lil Bow Wow was driving the car home.
You're such an idiot.
Dog, that'd be. Tell me that wouldn't. Sorry, like I said, I appreciate drama. That'd be hilarious. And also great if James went back to Houston with Ime as their current coach. The dialogue would be immaculate.
The dialogue would be immaculate. The jokes would be even funnier.
Oh my God.
But I still think that basketball wise, that's not a terrible move given the way their roster looks right now. The only thing is, if James was to do that, because it would have to be a trade, right? Because he's still under contract.
It has to be, yeah.
So who would be coming to Philly in that trade? Because I don't see Houston trading Jalen Green.
No, it'd probably be KPJ, but I don't think that moves the needle, even though KPJ is cold.
Right.
I think Philly wants someone from the Clippers.
That seems to make the most sense. And honestly, truly, it would be a weird pairing, and it would be one of the oddest super teams we've ever seen. But if that is where Harden does end up going, and that's the team that we've been hearing the most about, but if that's the team that he does end up going to, it would just be so interesting. So do you start Russ, Harden, PG, and Kawhi?
Does PG stay in that trade? Does PG stay in that trade, or does he end up in Philly?
If I wouldn't understand them trading PG, mainly because I don't see Kawhi being okay with that.
Secondly, go on.
Secondly, if PG was in that trade, I think they would add Tobias in the trade with Harden, because it doesn't make sense for PG to come and for Tobias to either sit or for them to play together. Because I don't.
Because are they just gonna get like Norman Powell? Like what other things do they get? Well, I mean, what else could they do? Like, because they know he wants to go, so they don't have the leverage in the trade. Who's the other star that completes that trade? Who is there?
Well, we know it's not Kawhi. It wouldn't make sense to trade Russ.
Is this the scenario if Dame ends up in Philly and then the Clippers send those pieces to Houston? Sorry, Portland, and then James ends up in LA? That's how that would have to work. So it'd have to be like Norman Powell would end up in Portland again somehow. It'd be one of those, I'm pretty sure, if that's how it looks like it would end up. And then what would the Heat look like?
Who knows?
Sad if they don't get that. If that's how this timeline goes, because they cleared shelves like it was pretty much a done deal. So
yeah, they have. They let a lot walk. I was surprised they let as much walk in free agency that they did.
So this leaves my head like, So I feel like Philly is the team that stays put here. I feel like I feel like what's gonna happen, but no, James has got to go. Somebody's moving.
But why doesn't I don't know why James doesn't want to stay, to be honest.
This man doesn't like hard work. He's the anti KD. No, wait. Well, I mean, yes, the hardest road. Like in terms of the phrase, it's the anti KD. This is the easiest road. He's like, at Brooklyn. Let me go to Kyrie and KD. It's supposed to be a done deal. And then that doesn't work. He's like, Philly, it's Joel Embiid time. It's time to get you a ring, buddy. And then they do what? And now he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to play with the best center in the game. Or, I mean, their play styles are a match made in heaven. If you went to Denver, he'd be in hell. If you had to move that much off ball and do what they ask him to do, he would hate it. He would hate that. Yeah. He wants to go somewhere, do your thing.
Yeah, I don't really understand it. I think that James makes perfect sense where he's at in his career. Yep. I think it makes perfect sense for him to be paired with Embiid and to play off of Embiid more, honestly. If he wants to go to the Clippers, I think I don't think that he can't play with those guys. And I think that it would be better for him to be a second or even a third option there, but I don't know what that trade looks like. So I don't know. But Harden's in this weird space in his career where it's like, hey man, I don't know what exactly you shooting for right now. But your best shot at a ring is honestly where you're at. You just have to perform. And I think that he showed. I just don't think he's as consistent as he used to be. And he's always had his troubles in the playoffs. But
even in the regular season, he's going through injury bugs. He's not looking like the James Harden of old. I hate when people say that, but he's not yamming on people as much. His game doesn't look as bouncy as it once did. That's just how it goes. So I don't know if that's motivation. I don't know if that's lack of it, but I don't know. He's one of those players where it's like, if you talk about what their career looks like, how one would look at it, people would be like, yeah, I'd take that career. Like,
yeah.
Like scoring champ at one point, triple-double season.
Yeah.
MVP, all that. Yeah, like finals appearance. Like, yeah, but I don't know. I don't know what he wants out of his career right now. I feel like he's just cool with the bag and hooping. And if a chip comes out of it, that's cool. But if not, I don't think he cares all that much.
I mean, hey, if that's what he cool, if that's what makes his boat float, then so
I think he's a. I don't want to call someone that led the league in assists a selfish player, but I feel like in terms of how he cares about basketball, he cares about personal accolades more than a team chip. I think like when it was like we saw it, like it's the playoffs, and he's having a one-on-one interview to Rachel Nichols about Giannis and how it'd be easy to dribble and run and dunk. I'm like, what are you focused on? Like, bro, get out of the Western Conference Finals. Like, make something shake. I don't know. Like, I feel like that's just so apparent. It's right there in front of you. Like, why? That's not what we're here to do right now. It's literally playoff basketball, and you're here beefing about what a league MVP looks like. Like, shut up. Like, or at least that at least shows us like, hey, that's what type of player he is. Like, and that's cool. You do that. Like, that was in Mo Bamba's draft report. They're like, we think he has too many eclectic interests. Like, whatever that means. Like, but he's too smart. But that's essentially what they said about Mo Bamba. It's like he cares too much about other things. We don't know if he really cares about basketball. And at the time, I'm like, this sounds weird. Like, people have other passions. People can do whatever, 100%. But in a deeper sense, maybe that's what they try and psychoanalyze in some players, where it's just like he'll buy in for himself, but if he's asked to do too much or like more than what he feels like he needs to do, then he's just gonna be like, yeah, I don't feel like it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know where they'll end up. Hopefully they end up somewhere soon, because I mean, the preseason and then training camps and all that are about to start ramping up here relatively soon. So, yeah, man, hope they get that figured out. Very soon. But yeah, no, wanted to get into a couple other questions, man. Just more so league wide. We were talking off record beforehand. And we were talking about dynasties. And man, I don't, as we were talking, I don't know that there are a lot of dynasties in the league currently, or that we can say in the past decade or so. I mean, we were pretty much on the Warriors kind of being the only.
Yeah, the only dynasty of the last 10 years for sure. Like when we were talking in our skiff, we were kind of saying like you have the Spurs that are in the last 20 in the 2000s. It's like the Spurs, the Lakers. I mean, Lakers, Spurs.
Of the 20. So if you're like 90s, right? So
Bulls, right? So it's like Celtics, LA for when they were
Celtics, Lakers,
in the league.
Right.
Then it's Bulls, 90s. The Houston Rockets have 2 chips. I think we also talked in our skiff. 2 chips ain't enough. I think like we said off rip, like you gotta have at least like probably like 4 chips, like or 4 chips or a 3-peat. Like
okay, so if you have 3, does it have to be a 3-peat? Because I don't think a 2-peat is enough. But I think that if you 3-peat, sure, cool. But I think if you Spurs are probably a perfect example, right? So the Spurs won in 2005 and 2007. Had to be, yeah.
That math is mathing, sure.
But they but the Spurs also won in 99.
Yes.
So they won in 99. It was the Lakers 3-peat. And then it was the Pistons. Then it was them, the Heat, and them.
Yes.
So the Spurs are in this weird place where like they were always relevant and always like relatively dominant because the Spurs always made the playoffs.
60-win team like every year.
Yeah. They were going to this. They were going to the second round, if not the conference finals.
Yep.
So if they didn't win and make it
in a stacked West, like
in a stacked West at that, and then even in the beginning of the 2010s, they went to the finals back to back, 13 and 14. You know, it arguably could have won both in 13. Well, could have won in 13, and they won in 14.
And then the twilight of their superstars' careers,
right? So,
like with the budding young superstar in Kawhi in the last one.
So but they technically, if you look at it in terms of, go from 99 to 14 is what, 15? That's 15 years.
Yeah,
and they have
4.
So they have 4, but if we were to talk about how many playoff appearances they made, how many conference finals appearances they made, and how many finals appearances they made in those 15 years, one could argue that it's a dynasty, but it depends on the criteria.
Yeah, like imagine if they have no rings and that's the MO. It's just like that's the Jazz. That's like Stockton, Malone. I don't know if they made that many finals. What, they made 1 finals? No, am I tripping?
I think it was just 1 finals. Might have been 1 more, but
okay. Sorry, so that's a garbage comparison. I'm so sorry. I
don't know who else is like that.
I don't know who's comparing. Yeah, it's crazy. Like but no, yeah, there's still a dynasty. I like if they have a ring. I'm questioning it. I don't know if it's a dynasty, but if they make it to like, you can't. It's not a dynasty if you don't get the rings. That's definitely criteria.
So let's do this, right? Okay. So one of the definition of dynasty or dynasties is a powerful group or family that maintains its position for a considerable time. Right? So that's probably the best definition for it to put in the context of sports, right? power, winning, however you want to, couple it all together over a considerable amount of time. In sports, I think 5 years is a really good time frame or window for a team to show if they're a dynasty.
Yeah.
So the Lakers dynasty, that early Lakers, that 3-peat Lakers team dynasty. I think they 3-peated. Then they lost in the finals to the Pistons. And then I'm pretty sure at some point they lost to the Spurs along the way. But either way, but even that 4-year run, right? Because you got to think, I think Shaq comes in 99. I'd have to look that up. But I think Shaq comes to LA in either 98 or 99. Because we all know Kobe was drafted in 96. So in 99, the Lakers are already like on their way. So let's say, and I'm pretty sure even if we look it up, even if you just take 2000, or if you take 99, 2000 to like 2004, that 5-year run, there's a 3-peat in those 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Dynasty. And I mean, they ran all the stuff that was going on with them, you know what I'm saying, in terms of 04 for the Lakers specifically. But like, could have had a opportunity to win that as well, right? So dynasty. But I don't think there are a lot of other teams that really fall into that category. We were talking about it.
Yeah.
For the Heat, for that Heat team, I don't know. I think it gets really dicey. I think it gets really dicey on whether they're a dynasty or not.
I think I maybe figure out a way to make them a dynasty. If you loop that 06 championship and D Wade being the core and move it like 4 years later, and you think about it, 3 rings over a 10-year span.
No.
But they got 2 and 4, and then it was just, a rebrand for 3 years in the middle of that.
That's not it was a rebuild, is essentially what it was. It wasn't a rebrand. It was a rebuild.
It's under construction.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. But it's tough because so the team had extremely high expectations, right? So you got to think, if they come in and get that first chip, right? If they come in and get that first chip, we having a different conversation.
Yeah.
If they get the last chip,
having a different conversation.
But
the fact that they dropped each, it's like it's 2 rings. That's not a dynasty. You need.
And I think what hurts them is you have a lot of people that are like, "Hey, Ray Allen saved them in 13." Because if they don't win in 13, then we really aren't having this conversation
at all. Like, I remember Twitter was buzzing like, "Oh, Braun is crying." I remember that was like the first time I was like scrolling and reading like, "Oh my God, is Braun crying?" Like, is it? I was looking down at my phone up at the TV. I'm like, "Oh my God, it's over." And then it wasn't over. He got that thing. That was one of the craziest plays still to see live in a finals. That was unbelievable. Fans were begging to get back in.
Yeah. So I think in the Warriors, so they're in the Warriors. I mean, granted, the back half of their dynasty, is, I mean, of course, when you bring in Kevin Durant to that team, it changes the landscape of the NBA. But nonetheless, it's a dynasty. They were already, and you got to think of the thing is, and what separates the Warriors in this conversation of the rest of the league, probably, because I don't think you can confirm based on what we're talking about, the criteria we're using. I think you got the Lakers in the early 2000s.
Yep.
And then you get the Warriors in 2014, 2015.
Yes. And it's crazy. They got another chip after a rebuild. Like after like a 1 year, like we're all hurt.
Well, it was really 2. Because Clay gets injured in 19.
And then
right? Then he gets injured again. Then Steph gets injured.
Yep. Then Steph and Dre and Clay are all coming off injury the first year.
Yeah. So
that's crazy. And they still got one. And that should have been ours.
Yeah. Yeah, it should have. Yeah, it should have. but yeah, and that's tough. And I think that honestly, I think it just goes to show that I think the dynasty era might be over.
It's over, folks. It's for real. Yeah, it's not like we were talking. It's a player-driven league now, where there's not just two teams that have all the money. It's not Boston, LA anymore. Because if we're talking dynasties, there's a true two only dynasties until another team cracks 10, which who knows how long that'll take, because Boston and LA are still going to get one every 10 years. And then still somehow, some way, there's going to be so much more parity. And like Atlanta's going to get one. Orlando is going to have a bubble ring just because it's in Disney where they're going to hoist it. It's going to be so much harder with like players having contracts with like, hey, I don't want to be here anymore, like Dame, or a team not having the money to keep a roster around for that much time. So I think we're going to see more and more player dynasties, as in like what we talked about, like guys like Bron, where it's like he is a dynasty. Like his legacy is that he saw how many finals in a row? Eight.
It was
8 finals in a row, like 4 chips. Like that's a dynasty. You have to look at who is impacting what team for what amount of time. That's what we're going to see now. Like,
technically, he went to 9. He went to 9 finals in 10 years, and he won 4 championships.
Dynasty. So like there's gonna be like a team like Golden State. Like, could it be the Nuggets? Is it them? Are they the next one? I know they're talking like it, but you never know. The league is looking so much more spread out.
For the Nuggets, for the Nuggets to do it, Jokic would have to. I don't think Jokic would necessarily have to elevate more. I just think Jokic would have to really be like a defensive candidate for the next 3 to 5, 3 years.
Yeah.
Or Murray would have to make another ascension.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty much
capable. He's capable
at that point where it's like, do they evolve from this?
Yeah.
Some way. And that's like MPJ maybe take another leap. They have guys that could definitely make that step.
If he can, that would be great for them, seeing as he's supposed to be their, their third guy. So, yeah. And I mean, I think I think people will want to play with Jokic as well. So if they ever get into a situation where they're trying to get people in free agency or they're looking to add pieces, I think they have, and Malone is a great coach. So I think they have the culture to like have players come, so I mean, we'll see. It's yet to be seen. We're still early in this decade, so who's to say what the rest of it will look like? But you brought up LeBron and the player dynasty, and that led me to think of this question earlier today. Who would you say have the top 5 careers out of current players?
Okay.
And we were talking about this, and we pretty much have our list. I don't know if we're really missing anybody. I think it'll be interesting to see, like, what viewers think and if they think other names should be on here. But we'll just go ahead and get, one out the way.
LeBron.
1 is LeBron, obviously, clearly. Right. 2 is Steph. Clearly, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
2 dynasty, two players that you consider like these are the dynasties.
Two players who have, like you said, arguably their own dynasty from an individualistic standpoint, right?
3.
So we were going back and forth about this originally, but I think it's safe to say I'm comfortable saying Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant's the 3rd.
And I really don't know what the argument would be, to be honest. I mean, he has his 2 rings. He has 2 final MVPs.
Yeah.
Olympian,
gold medalist.
Yeah.
2-time gold medalist.
Matter of fact, let me see.
Maybe 3-time gold medalist. I could be tripping.
I think it's just 2. I think it's just 2.
Because for sure 2012.
No, he's
3. Yep. Because I
12,
would
16, and 20.
that.
Yeah, 12, 16, and 20.
Because 20, man, it was him and Drew Holiday brought that thing home.
Yeah, he's a two-time NBA champion, a two-time NBA Finals MVP. He's has 1 MVP, 6 All-NBA first team selections, 4 All-NBA second team selections. He's a Rookie of the Year. He's a 4-time NBA scoring champion. He's a 2-time 50-40-90 club member. And that is about it for.
Hold on. Host of the boardroom.
Please. But
shouts out, who might have us on the pod. Lord knows.
I think
Kenny for real made it. We're next. Shouts out Kenny for real. Maybe we can make it there. One wrong at a time.
One step at a time. But I think it's safe to say, and when you just think about his impact on the league, like you mentioned earlier, he's been a top 5 player for the majority of his career. I think he made
top 2 scorers.
I think he maybe fell out of the top 5 recently, like maybe in the last year.
When they got swept by the Celtics.
Probably. That
was when it happened.
That probably was it. Yeah, so Kevin Durant is 3.
Yep.
4. People might be mad at this. I don't know.
I don't know if you'd be mad. I think like I'll back it up. This man has put the resume out. It's there. There are other players that have had longer careers, but the resume speaks for itself.
So he's this year 10. He just finished year 10.
Something like that's crazy if it's year 10.
Yeah. So we're talking about Giannis, NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 2-time NBA MVP. Also has a Defensive Player of the Year that he won the same year as an MVP. That's 2020.
Yep.
I don't like counting All-Star, but
did he win Most Improved, or am I tripping?
He did win Most Improved. He was All Rookie second team. He's made 5 All Defensive teams, 4 first team. He's made 7 All NBA teams, 5 first teams. Yeah.
Come on now. Let's be real. Like, am I wrong? There's laughter in the room. Don't worry. But am I wrong? Like,
no, I don't think he's wrong, because he's also been in the MVP conversation for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yes. So, and if we're talking like, I'm going to name the honorable mentions that didn't make the top 5, that if you want to compare, if you want to say James Harden has had a better career, I don't think he has the resume to speak on that. He's got an MVP, a scoring title, triple-double season, historic. Same with Russell Westbrook, amazing career, MVP, triple-double record, averaged it for 2 seasons back-to-back. I don't know if there's that caliber player there. Like, I mean, Clay, you can go Draymond, Clay, because the ring total, but like in terms of like individual player who, like, they're not seeing MVPs, they're not seeing any of those individual player accolades outside of a DPOY from Draymond, like, but it doesn't stack up if we're being quite real. Yes, it's a shorter career than most, but I think that's solidified top 4 because he's been doing it for long enough.
Yeah, the run of his prime will be. I mean, of course, we would love to see him get a couple more rings, but I'm pretty sure he probably will get another MVP at some point. I don't know about DPOY. Maybe not. Who knows?
We'll see. I see him getting another DPOY before he gets another MVP, just for voter fatigue, personally.
Fair. But yeah,
the 5 spot. The 5
is where. Okay, so do you want to explain your argument, like you're the 2 people?
Yes, because like I didn't. If you're wondering, they're like, I know 2 people that have resumes that are close. Should we say their resumes back to back?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, you say
You want
I'll say I mean I'll say mine and you say
okay, because yours is
I think mine is yours if we're going to choose. But
okay, when I say mine, or when I say the one I'm looking at least.
I don't know. Exactly.
So the first resume, right? NBA champion, NBA Finals MVP, 2-time MVP, 5-time All NBA, 3 first team, rookie first team. Yeah, that's the resume.
Okay, cool. That's good. That is a good resume. This resume: 12-time NBA All-Star, NBA All-Star Game MVP, 4-time All NBA First Team, 5-time All NBA Second Team, 2-time All NBA Third Team. I didn't even know they had one of those. 7-time All NBA Defensive First Team, 2-time All Defensive Second Team, NBA Rookie of the Year, NBA All Rookie First Team, 5-time NBA Assist Leader, 6-time NBA Steals Leader, NBA 75th Anniversary Team. And then you get into the first consensus All-American, McDonald's High School All-American. That's high school and all that in college. But it's tough because like one is a longer, more historic resume, one of the greatest PGs to ever play the game. The other is one of the most dominant big men that has seen the game in the last however many years. So obviously, if you watch basketball, Steve had Nikola Jokic, and I had Chris Paul. So, but I'm still choosing Jokic too. I think Jokic has the better. If you're gonna say who has the better career, if we're saying,
I don't know, man.
but that's personal. That's like
5
times.
Okay, so here's my thing. The only thing stopping Chris Paul from undoubtedly being 5 in this case
Rings, Ernie.
is a ring. Or even an MVP for that matter.
Literally, yeah.
That's it. Everything else is insane for a 19-year career?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
5-time assist leader, 6-time
steals leader. That's stupid. How do you
okay. So then on top of that, like he's an 11-time All NBA selection. A 9-time All Defensive selection, 7 times he was first team.
Yeah.
What defense?
Olympic gold medalist at least one time.
Oh, twice.
Oof. But that's like, but Nikola can't do anything about that. Well, it's not his fault.
He would have to win a gold medal.
Jokic would have to. The country of Nikola Jokic would have to win a gold medal. They got like 4 Antetokounmpo brothers trying to get Greece a bronze, and that ain't working still.
I kind of do it begrudgingly, and no disrespect to Jokic. Like I give him the spot, but
I thought it was about Chris Paul. I thought you were giving it to Chris Paul. I was like, damn.
I want to.
I know.
But even with everything we talked about, it's like I don't want to take away Jokic like getting that chip because a lot of people were saying Jokic wasn't going to get that ring. So I don't want to take away his ring. I don't want to take away the fact that he performed to get that ring.
Oh, he did, yeah.
I don't want to take away his 2 MVPs. Should be a 3-peat. We said it before.
Yep.
I want to say,
yep.
He should be a 3-time MVP. I mean, and that alone, in a sense, like, yeah, he's not he's not a block leader or anything like that. But I mean, he's averaging. I mean, his career averages are probably insane. He's been averaging essentially a triple-double for the last 2 years. Don't see that slowing down anytime soon.
Truly, it's like, then that's a for sure, like that. I'd say that's a bona fide top 6. And then the next 4 spots are occupied by probably like Russ, James Harden.
Yeah.
You can maybe throw Dame or Luka there, Derrick Rose. That's what I'm saying. Like the top 6 is strong. All right. I'll say so. Let me what? Probably Clay Dre over Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
And Luka.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Luka doesn't have enough.
Yeah.
Career wise.
I'm thinking I'm a futurist. I'm like, give him like 4 years and he's probably.
I mean, you get Luka a couple scoring titles.
An MVP.
MVP, a ring. He'll be in there when some people, retire.
Yep.
But I think that's an interesting listen. I mean, man, I think that just I think Giannis and Jokic rounding that list out is so interesting because when you think about the first 3, you're talking about, I mean, Bron is this year 21. He's about to be in. Steph has been around for.
Sorry, KD.
You said what?
I said Chris Paul meant to say KD.
Okay.
Yeah, KD year like
around for I think Steph has been around 15, or this will be 15. KD is in. This has to be 16 or maybe 7, going into 17 for him. I think. God, Jesus Christ,
we're old, bro.
Good God.
Because now it's like I see the kids hitting the gritty to John Morant, and I'm like, maybe, am I out of touch? No, it's them that don't get it.
Yeah, he's
been like Principal Skinner out here.
He's been playing for a while.
For how long? Say that how many years?
I mean, he was drafted in 07.
God,
it's now 2023.
Yo, oh my God. No, I'm doing Bucks camps, seeing some of the dates, and some of these kids are born. I'm like, you were born in. You said you were born in 2019.
Oh my God. Oh Jesus Christ.
For the little dribblers, the ball is bigger than them. Yeah. And I'm like, huh? Yo, no. Yeah, no, I'm not. Someone's born in the Trump era. I was like, man, how does that? That's got to be like moon cycles. That's got to hit them hard. It's still a basketball podcast.
Crazy, but anyway,
I'm going off of the laughter in the room. I'm like, all right, I gotta laugh. We'll take it. Yeah, it was someone's getting hit with that at home. It's hot, bro. My brain. I'm getting cooked. I feel like Tyrese in here. He's living in 90-degree AC in his home. I'm getting cooked.
But that's it for this episode of the Wright Quality. We will be back next week to talk more NBA news, and yeah, y'all gonna get more of this too, because ain't no telling if it's this hot and he gonna have to be like this. Ain't no telling where the competition is gonna go.
I'm telling you, the first NBA All-Africa team, or if we get every country to play, if they go everywhere they need to go, I'm telling you, they're taking it every other year. America's not seeing the top 3 in a while. There's my hot take. There's my hot take of the night. Woo!
Peace.
Peace.